Akwaba.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, it's belated happy birthday.
Belated happy birthday.
That's right.
Belated happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
How was it yesterday for you? Any party?
Oh, I was overwhelmed with a lot of messages, especially on Facebook. You know, Facebook is my place of abode. That's where I've been resting.
Yeah.
For the rest, like Twitter and
Instagram,
I'm not there.
But Facebook,
yes.
Is the joint.
Interaction is more between you and your friends. And
okay.
I prefer that one to the other platforms.
To other ones.
But maybe when we start very brisk business, we shall go to the Instagram.
Any fufu yesterday?
Yes, yesterday Goku's bar surprised me. It's not fufu, but at least some, their local dishes that they prepared there, and some other friends to also surprise me.
Okay, I want to do something for you. Just mention your favorite song that you'd like us to play for you for your birthday.
Now, it's my son's
for your birthday.
My son's music. Onyami Betre.
Onyami Betre. Let them get us. How old you are now?
Old. I'm 50 plus. 50 plus.
50 plus. The more each plus is 2.
Yeah, it's not 2. Now the problem is that when you show your real age, people begin to decline you certain positions and certain jobs. And
oh, really?
Yeah, that's how we are. The kind of industry that we are.
Is it that serious?
It is. We should have been like the wine. As we grow, our taste become very valuable. But as we go in Ghana here, where you tell the people your real age, but they don't think of your experience and what you can.
Is it something that you have personally experienced?
Yeah, I've experienced it a lot.
Based on your age, you've been denied certain opportunities.
I've been denied opportunities, a lot. Oh, Fredyma was someone who told you there will always be a difference between chop bar and restaurant, and then 12 and dozen. Similar is not the same. Similar is not the same.
So these opportunities that slipped through your fingers had to do with work?
It had to do with work. Okay. Work. Sometimes among your own colleagues, some of the people that we have trained, and a whole lot of when we hear certain things that they say about you, sometimes we get very.
But you haven't even hit retirement age, so why is this happening this early?
Well, you see, in a kind of our field, it involves a lot of competition, and he who wears the crown, people really. Your attention is always there.
Right.
You see, also I have recorded a lot of people. You see, but Ghana, unless your music is played on air, then you know that Fredyma, this what I've done a lot of. So when I tell you today, you say, so was this from your studio, your stables?
Yeah.
But I don't put my signature.
You don't put them. You don't put signature.
Yeah, I mean,
it's quite interesting. Okay, so let's production, huh?
Yes. I wrote this song for my son.
Okay.
Together with the late Kofi B.
Okay.
This song was written almost 20 years ago. We were in the studio, and then I was just playing the keyboards, and then Kofi B was just sitting by me, and he started, giving me that kind of chord progression. I said, "Watch, this is nice. So can we get some things into it?" And I said, "Okay, let's use the story of Abraham and his son."
Right.
And then we sat down and
you wrote the song 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago.
Yes, that was
who was it intended to have been for? Did you write it to sing it yourself, or was it for Kofi B?
No, initially at that time I had discovered Celestine Donko.
Right.
Yeah, so Celestine Donko, I made him sing this song.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was in another vein. That was in a reggae form.
Right.
Yeah, but for there I reserved that when my son grew up, because at that time he was about 5 years or 6 years old.
So you reserved it purposely for him?
Yeah, so when the time came for him to release his music, I said, look, Nyame Betre is the song that I want you to read, because it encapsulates, and then the kind of the lyrics contains our daily life that we're doing.
Right.
The Nyame Betre in all our ways. I've gone through a lot for the past couple of years, 5 years.
I know.
And my survivor is by my instincts and that of God, because I made it possible that I have to survive.
Right.
And I have to survive through the benevolence of other people, and then God's intervention. So
you gave it to your son.
That's why I gave it to my
son.
So
do you take royalties as the writer, or because he's your son, you've given everything to him? It's a dash.
This is his first step into the music world, and because I didn't have any studio.
Right.
I asked him himself to get the best of producers that they can. So Oshogbo and Gadiel Amwa and some other Gludo.
Okay.
Who won the So they work on it.
They work on it.
Yes. So the studio, when they were even recording, I didn't go to the studio.
Right.
You see, sometimes my presence might even intimidate them. If Fredyma never hire you, so tell you I never even entered the studio.
Right.
He only just bring the copies and I listen. I said, okay, go and do this one, and this one, and this is the outcome.
This is the outcome.
So I thank the various engineers who work on it.
Great. So this is 100% dash for him.
For him.
Nothing comes to Fredyma out of this one,
right.
and it's a great song and well delivered as well. So apart from this song that you've written for your son, who else have you written songs for?
Yes, Celestine song, Adichie Munsem.
Adichie Munsem. No name.
I wrote that song.
Oh, you wrote that song.
And then
was it also a dash?
Yes, dash from Celestine. Initially, there was some kind of controversy going on, but I said no. Celestine is my daughter.
Right.
Yeah. Initially, when he came, apparently we had recorded it in my studio, and we were waiting for a producer to come on board for us to finish.
Right.
Then before I realized, I had gone to another studio to record it, and then it came out. So the intuition that I had in composing this song and the arrangement, it differed slightly from mine. So it was Nancy who worked on it. But when I listened to the song, Celestine is my daughter. I can't begrudge her with this kind of thing. So she also wrote.
So you weren't taken through the process, the production process of the song. You weren't fully part of it.
Yes, no, I wasn't part of it. Before I realized they had released.
So is that what brought the controversy around?
Yeah, the controversy around it. Because initially I was paying. I was paying, but I said no. This is Celestine coming out. I have to leave my sister for her to also enjoy the fullness of life. So we resolve everything. I dash you everything, including everything,
So that's the second dash.
That's right.
From obviously wouldn't be the second since you started dashing songs, but as per this conversation, that's the second dash you did, Celestine. And all two songs are gospel songs. How about High Life, Hip Life, and all the others? Have you written some High Life songs?
Yeah, High Life, for Amponsah, or Don't Refie. I co-arranged it with Amponsah. Yeah, there's a story to that Odomrefi song.
What's the story?
In 1992,
right,
I was working with Shell as a filling station manager, fuel station manager around the Ring Road.
Right.
Yeah, just after the bus stop. There's a fuel station there. I was managing that place,
1992.
That's 28 years ago. And Amponsah was a student at Konomu Masses Secondary School, sixth former. So he came to Accra. I mean, an uncle of mine who was a friend to Amponsah. Fortunately, Amponsah and I come from the same town, Agogo, in the Ashanti region. And then somebody introduced me that Ofori can sing very well. So at that time, I was also doing demos alongside my work.
Right.
So my uncle introduced Amponsah to me. Amponsah, I also knew the sisters and the brothers who are my co-equals in terms of our age.
Right.
So he came down to Accra, and then fortunately, I was having a keyboard, PSR or something, I've forgotten. But the day that he arrived, I had a problem with the keyboard.
Right.
So I had to go to town. And I said, Kaishi, with Amponsah to buy a new keyboard. So I bought the keyboard and I made him carry the keyboard.
From Okashi?
Yeah, that's right. We came into my car and then we drove to Zlatebia because where I was. And then that very night, I programmed Odomrefi song.
But in the meantime, this is what you did. You're the one you just mentioned, Ofori Amponsah, Odomrefi. But we have Lumba featuring Ofori Amponsah. Is that how it is?
I don't know how they wrote it, but
yes.
Lumba featuring Ofori Amponsah.
So it's Lumba on that song?
I think yes. Lumba was on that song.
Lumba was on that song.
But because he was the biggest artist at that time, they had to credit him.
They had to credit him.
Sorry.
Okay, so this one also was arranged by Fredyma.
That's right.
The day you went to buy your keyboard.
Keyboard.
Was it a Yamaha keyboard?
Yamaha keyboard, PSL. I've forgotten this. It's a long time.
And you had to stay overnight?
Yeah, in my bedroom at Pillar 2 because she would program it and then put it on cassette. At that time, Domi Pillar 2 was a new area that was being discovered. So after the railway line, the other place were bushy. And Oluma had built his house over there. So I was using the Morris Mini Minor. That was the vehicle, black in color.
Okay.
So Amponsah sat in and then we went to give the music to
Lumba.
That's right. So he told us that he would go abroad and then come back. So in 1993, he commissioned myself and another program who is called Kofi Isel.
Kofi Isel.
Yes. So we went to Bobby. There was a studio around what we call Tito Lane area where we did and Pan-African. So that way we went to do the programming. The programming. So Lumba to the programming, and initially we recorded it at CHM. Combined House of Music at Mateko. So Lumba took all the materials and then went to Bodo Stagger's place and then the rest is history.
So eventually the song got released when?
I think around 1997.
Wow.
Yeah, 1997 or
from 92.
Yeah, there's a history behind. It's a whole lot.
Why it kept that long? What is that history?
That history is that after the programming of this song, the National Theatre has then been opened. So there was a program called Showtime. It was done on Saturdays. On the 3rd of June, 1993, together with Kwame Sefakai, Kwame Eboa, Ras Apia Levi, and a lot of other guys, Marcus General and a whole lot of, we went for an audition for that program, and my group, comprising of Amponsah and another lady called Selena Ollins Lindsay. Later on, she was managing Lumbe's records in terms of the sales and everything. So Amponsah used to sing. At that time, there was this man, Kofi Annie Johnson. Madame Fupa Beko, I was managing, but that time, he composed that song. I was also managing that. The original composer is there, Kofi Annie Johnson. I was also managing at that time. So I took all of them to the audition and we passed.
So in the group, what was your role?
I was the director. I was the financier. I was financing them in terms of everything.
Was there a name for the group?
At that time, I've forgotten the name that we get to the group. I think it was Fredyma and the Friends or something.
How many were you?
We were a lot. I had some instrumentalists also from the church that I used to at the Reverend also Ancestors Church, Resurrection and Living Bread. That was where I was attending. I was an instrumentalist there. That's where I met JQ.
That's where you met JQ.
JQ. There's a picture here. I'll show you. Charlie.
It's getting interesting, man.
Getting interesting. So we attended that in audition. And prior to that, Ofori Amponsah, according to him, he sought permission from school that he was sick. Only for them to find him singing live on GTV at the National Theatre. Because so in my group, Sefa Kai and his group, Chairman General, they were doing the comedy aspect. Kofi Annie Johnson will see the oldies, and then Ofori Amponsah, and then we'll send the what do we call the contemporary kind of music
at the time.
So after closing, we all come together, and then so Chairman General became my friend through.
That so he represented comedy at the time.
Comedy. He and a friend. And Kwame Eboa was the band of they call Amazing Six.
Amazing Six.
So that's where my connection with Kwame Eboa also started. So when Ofori Amponsah went to school, they said they saw you
performing on GTV.
So he's been sacked. So they sacked him when he was at Cornwood Mass 64.
Oh, he was sacked.
Yeah, it was a blow. It was a blow. So we went, you got frustrated, I must be honest. You got frustrated between 93, 94, 95. So you had to attend Extramural Academy.
Some school.
Around the Kaneshi Chief Palace. The Gamanche Chief Palace around Kaneshi there. So I was also supporting him in one way or the other. So
all this ate into the initial start of the song, which is 92 through to 97. So on the day, my son, whom you play his song, he was born on Valentine's Day, 14th of February. A day before that, that's why we went to record Odomrefi at CHM. So the next day, my wife gave birth to my son. To your son, Chairman's son.
Yes, that's right. So it was from there that Lumba took the materials away to Germany. Ofori too had been sacked from school, so he was with me. So around 1996, when the song wasn't being released, he got frustrated and said he wanted to go and sell salt at the Afram Plains.
Ofori Amponsah said he wanted to go and sell salt at the Afram Plains.
So he went to sell salt at the Afram Plains, and then from there, he came back and said he wanted to do gospel music. Gospel music. So he came out with a gospel music, and then unfortunately, that gospel music too couldn't make a hit. So he abandoned
the gospel music as well.
And then went to my hometown as well. Started, doing business until 1997 when Lumba came, and then he said, "Look, I'm ready with you
with the song."
So with the song, and then he released it.
So this song was released by Lumba.
Lumba, that's right.
When it belonged to Ofori Amponsah.
No, I think he featured him.
He featured him.
That one, I think later, Odobewi Sadi and the other one, Antiate Mary Uba.
So it was an album.
Yeah, it was an album. So I think it's on the album. Either it was Ofori's album that Lumba featured. Yeah, because that was the maiden album that was coming out. So Lumba had to, get involved for that kind of project.
You had been with Ofori Amponsah throughout these times when he went to his hometown to sell Afram Plains, to sell salt and all that. So if this was part of an album that Ofori Amponsah had. Was this the only song that you played a part in? Because he was with you throughout. Maybe did you work with him on other songs?
And then the gospel song, I did all the gospel song for him.
Okay, so you did all the gospel songs for him.
You see, I have something in me. I don't force myself on people's works.
Right.
There's a story between Ofori Amponsah and Apietus.
Okay.
I trained JQ in 1995, and JQ came to train Apietus.
Right. Right. So from you to JQ trained Apietus.
Yes.
Okay.
And as well as because the time that I had finished training JQ before Apietus came in, so JQ assisted Apietus in most of the training.
Right.
But it was one day that I was supposed to do a project for Ofori Amponsah. And I asked Ofori that, you allow Apietus to do. He said, no, Charlie, apprentice there. But later on, the stone that the builders rejected
became the stone.
Later it was the same Apietus that he rejected. He made him a hit.
Okay.
With all the what do we call it? All those songs that you can play. Yes, it was Apietus.
It was Apietus that gave Ofori Amponsah
that kind of
most of his hits.
But initially he rejected him.
Shemebo, Lumba featuring Ofori Amponsah. There's another song like that
by Ofori Amponsah. So before I realized he has given Lumba some of the songs to be added to. That was those days you have to make about 8 songs or so
before you can have an album. So eventually an album got released.
That's right.
Somewhere in 97. Who was the first musician you got in contact with when you started working as a sound engineer?
The first, he was in Kumasi. He attended a check Olumba Obu. And then later on Nana Abuaja Siama. In fact, it was Nana Abuaja Siama who encouraged me to open a studio.
Right.
Because in 1987, I had my demo studio in my room, and there was a studio around Zongo Junction called Roos Anabo. Yeah, that's where they were one of the first people who brought Atari computer to Ghana for recording. He and Sakta Samoa. So most of the programmings that were done.
Was Willie Roy part?
Willie, I'll tell you Willie's story.
Right.
It came around. Willie came around 1990 when we have Perform 1990 where Jermaine Jackson came to the trade fair. I was just sitting beside them. That was 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
That was where we had a show, a trade fair where we exposed gadgets in terms of modern gadgets. Computers were then on the ascendancy. So Willie Roy was working with Arc Studio Nana Boama, and he was behind the console and everything when they were displaying the Atari computer, how it works. But prior to that, Roots Anavo, Zongo Johnson had brought it. So most of the programs that were done between that period was done by Bruce Anavo, like Samuel Osu songs.
It's Kokosechi.
Kokosechi and that keyboard, that solo keyboard, it was my keyboard that they used to play that solo. There was one man called Poncho. You know Poncho? He used to work with GBs, but he's had an elder brother who was a keyboardist. He's now in Germany.
Right.
They rented my keyboard through Abuaja Siama. Now he's a chief in Kwau. And so most of the tones that we used in that music was from my keyboard.
Your keyboard.
That's right.
Samuel Osu.
Those times.
Who trained Fredyma?
Fredyma, my own is a talent to my brother. But I had lessons and tutorial from Sakwachi.
Right.
Something Queen. And then one guy, they were at TV3, Ghana Films. Yeah, by my own. I did science in school.
Okay.
Yeah, after
which school?
Premier College.
You attended Premier College?
I wanted to be a doctor, but if I was a very brilliant boy, but it didn't materialize. But I had a cousin, Mr. Fred Taylor, who used to work with Ghana Airways. He wanted to support me, go do medicine in Germany.
Right.
But he was the only breadwinner in the house. And looking at the costs, he said that you come and open business, we do the business, and as the business goes on, at least we can use some of the money
to support you.
Yeah, but that one didn't materialize. And then in 1988, I applied for Ghana Airways as a cabin crew attendant and as a pilot. Through the cabin crew attendant, you can also become a pilot. That was it. I went to do all the tests and pass. We were able to go to Holland for our training when the government or the other time it was under the military regime. They said no.
You weren't allowed.
Yeah, it's cancelled. So from there, I went to work with Shell as a fuel station manager.
So when did the love for music come? Usually you would have people say it started when I was a kid.
It's true.
But from what you just narrated, it came because you couldn't do your doctor science.
No, I was into music prior to that.
that.
So let me tell you my musical history.
Okay. When did it come?
Yes, when I entered class 1.
Class 1?
Yes.
Oh.
After every Sunday school, I'm a Presbyterian. So after every Sunday school, I'll just go and sit beside the person who was playing the organ in the church. At that time, it was called harmonium. You have to, there was a pedal that was to move your leg before it would generate heat before you can play. And it was very difficult those times. So the women didn't even allow you. So if you look at our previous season, most of the people who now play keyboards, they are the modern ones. The old, so it's very difficult for you to get a keyboardist in your band. And the first person who introduced keyboards in Ghana's music was Dr. KJC.
Right.
And the keyboards were played by one, and it's Honey. So if you look at most of the pianists or the keyboardists of the old, most of them, their fathers were either catechists or priests.
Okay.
Bessa Simons, his father was a Methodist priest. Kwasi Presbyterian catechist. So most of them, but they had a training, they had access to
from the church.
Yes. So I'll go and sit by. But I had one uncle called Nana Bujay. He wrote Onianema Broni Trapo Eba Africa and Kadikro said the pa. It's called Nana Bujay. I don't know whether if you can. In 1975, we had come for Christmas holidays. So I had also gone to my hometown in Agogo and church. So after church, I saw him playing some reggae songs. At that time, Bob Marley too was on the verge of climbing higher. So I saw him playing certain chords, but I didn't get attention to it until 1977 when Bob Marley played Soja say Soja say or so something of that sort. He will be playing it and he will show me how to play the bass line on the keyboard, and then he will be playing the other parts. So it was there that I developed the interest. So when I went to Premier College, I joined the school choir. Okay. And the funny thing in the school choir, you know which people were in?
Which people were in
the Minister for Education.
Minister for Education. Napo. Honorable Matthew Boku Prempe.
Yes, I was singing tenor. He was an auto singer. And to be glory to God, most of about 20 of them are medical doctor, professors, and all of those. I mean, yeah, everybody in terms of music. And then middle studio, Dominic Ansasari. His father was our music tutor, and Dominic was my junior. Right. But he knew how to play the keyboards better, so I aligned myself with him. So anytime that he was going, so I would see me as a senior carrying a junior's keyboard because I wanted to. So he showed me some few tricks on the keyboard. So after every vacation, fortunately, my cousin whom I used to live with at Latebeko had also a small Casio keyboard. Casio was the first to develop that kind of small keyboards. Right. So I was using them to also practice and a whole lot of stuff. And then things started. So
when you took money out of your pocket to buy music instrument, which one was it? The first musical instrument?
Yeah, the first musical instrument was a keyboard.
You bought a keyboard?
Yes, a keyboard.
How long ago?
That was 1987.
1987.
83, 33 years, my personal one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that kind of hip keyboard that you could hang on your neck like a guitar or something of that sort, yeah.
And then
synthesizer, yeah.
Do you remember your first commercial song or song that you did and got released officially? Do you remember which song it was and who you did it for?
Yeah, it was Selena Ollins.
Okay.
Selena Ollins Lindsay. Yeah, Lumba produced that album. But prior to that, I had done a lot of songs for other people.
Like the way our boys do. They have a lot of productions.
But if I can't remember, Selena Ollins.
The one that's shot out.
Yes, Selena Ollins. Lindsay before Ofori Amponsah song and the other Celestine's own came.
I see. We're still here with Fred Chamensa. History. So this is the song coming through from Samuel Owusu.
No, this is Koko Sechi.
This is Koko Sechi. Yeah. This one is Koko Sechi. So you can send in your questions 0266660735. Fred Chamensa is in the studios and it's getting very, very, very interesting. So at the time, apart from yourself, who else was in the same engineering business with you at the time?
At that time, Sami Helwani, Zab Mallet,
right?
Kwasi Yobo, Willie Roy, the late Koku Boateng, Nanang Kroma, George Aban, Act Studio, yeah. There were a lot, at least.
You were a lot.
Abi Mensa and all those, Chief Kwame from Kumasi. There were a lot, Chasamwa too.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So what was driving you guys, this group you've mentioned, what was driving you? Was it money or passion?
It was passion and money because we were fortunate to have met technology. For instance, in 1992, in Ghana here, I was the only person having about 4 Atari computers.
Wow.
Where people used to come and rent. And there was this particular keyboard called M1 keyboard. It was from the Korg series.
Right.
We were only 3 people also having them in Ghana here. So most of the tones that we hear from the early 90s music were from those kind of tones before Korg OW came. I was also having one.
Okay.
Together with Kojontri and then Nana Abiam also. So
how come you were the only one who had?
It was very expensive.
It was very expensive.
Very expensive.
Right.
It was very, very expensive.
Now, talking about expensive, do you remember how much you bought them?
I bought them at that time for about 1 million cedis. So
One
now,
million
yeah.
then.
So now it's going to be about 600.
That's a lot of
60,000 Ghana, yes,
yeah,
or so.
A lot of money.
So
then.
look, we handle it with care, with extra care.
The money you used in buying all these equipment, did you generate them from music business, or you had other things you were doing that gave you money?
You know, so you see, my passion is music. At the same time, I was working with Shell as a fuel station manager. So
right.
At least you could get something 1 or 2 from here.
Okay.
But I was also doing demos. Fredyma's secret is demos. I will never reject anybody because most of the musicians who pass through my studio, they're all public. That was their first point of contact. Right. That's why I have.
So you were their first point of contact.
Right. They were novice in the music industry. So they will come and then you show them the rudiments of music.
Okay. So you produce demos for them.
I have I don't give small money chance. The Nigerian told me, Fredyma, if you have 1 million and Oga Fred, if you have 1 million and you review 10 pesos, it's no more 1 million.
Yeah.
Try and get a 10 pesos and add again
to make it 1 million.
Yes. So I don't give small money chance. You come to my studio, Fred. Oh, Uncle Fred, I want to tell you, Omejo 50 Ghana. Oh, Uncle Fred, you need 20. Okay, wait, for 20 let me play.
And then you do 20
so
products.
I will do it the same thing. I have 50. So when you yourself go and listen to this, oh, tell you have to come and pay Uncle Freddy. So that's where the fair share of the common fan came.
How much were you charging?
Oh, those days would bring it between 20 CDs, 50 CDs per demo.
Demo.
Yeah, but it was very hard in recording. Unlike today that you can go to the studio within seconds, because we were using analog and then digital combined. We had something that we call synchronizer.
Right. So
the digital one, when you press the analog one, it will just synchronize with the computer before it comes. So there were small fractions of delay in terms of this thing, in terms of music production. But that's what we were working with.
Was the industry booming at the time? Where
it was booming. That's why we were making money. And because my studio, you have to book about 10 days before you complete your job.
10 days?
Yes,
before.
10 days. Because one vocal session, if the person is supposed to sing chorus at various parts, you can't just sing at one chorus and then cut them and go and paste them. It is real time.
Real time.
So sing here, go and sing. So if there are about 8 bars in the chorus, you have to sing all the parts. So 2 days you can take doing only vocals only.
So you book 10 days.
10 days.
And that was the 20 you mentioned, or
each 20 each day session, maybe from 8 hours. So we were working day, night, 24 hours.
And you had apprentices?
Yes, I had apprentices.
Who were these people?
JK was one, Petrus also was one.
Right.
Yeah, and other guy, Bishop Mante and all those kind of people. They were the Canada. A lot of people, and also a lot of people who used to come there and work. Zamale used to come and book and then
work in
do his programming there and then go away.
So you were making money.
Yeah, my joint was the production point. It was divided into sessions. You have to do programming, that is recording the beat only, before you send them to a studio for you to do the vocals. So at that time, those people who had that machines that you could do the vocals were Case Frequency, the late KK at Asylum Down, CHM, Ghana Films, and then Elephant Walk. It was the present stage where Lighthouse Cathedral at North Carnation is. That was where. These were the 4 studios that you can go and do your. So assuming the whole Ghana, these are the 4 studios. So you come to Fredyma, does the programming. You take the programming to them, you continue. So there's a combination. So no one could take sole credit.
So let's say the heart of music at the time was in Accra.
Accra.
So musicians who were in the northern region, Ashanti region, central region, and all those.
Black Rasta. I recorded Black Rasta. I was the first person who discovered Black Rasta in 1999. He was a student at Tech.
Right.
Yeah, he would come to my studio in the night. His first recording was done by me, Fredyma Studios. And most of the northern recordings, I must be honest, about 85% of northern musicians, they came through my Sheriff Gully and a whole lot of things.
They came through you?
Yes.
So they had to travel all the way to Accra?
Travel to Fredyma. I have a room reserved for them, a bathroom, everything. You come, you pay me, I do your music for you, and then you are gone. And we did jingles too.
Yes, we'll get into jingles and commercials because you've done a lot in that regard as well.
When I was coming, I saw you playing Dashibe song.
Yes.
Do you know what Dashibe 2 is?
You discovered
yes.
Dashibe. Okay, so now let's zoom on the discoveries. you discovered Black Rasta.
Yeah.
You discovered Black Rasta. Would you add Ofori Amponsah?
Yes.
You would add Ofori Amponsah.
Kofi B.
Dasibe Jamina. Celestine Donko. Who else?
It's a lot. I've got most of them. They have their first things in terms of Samini was with a group called Legal and Memory.
Okay, you discovered Samini?
Yeah, my studio was the first place.
Your studio was the first place.
Reggie ZP, Borax. Oh my God. That was a key. The tones was from my keyboard song. From Poncho. The personal program is called Poncho.
Okay.
Engineered by Rus Anabo music. That's right.
So Fred, what worked for you in the industry then? Was it that we had structures that supported what you did, such that when you put out your song, you know you're definitely going to make money out of it? There were distribution channels and all that you needed for a vibrant industry. What used to work for you guys?
The structures have not been there.
It has never been there.
It's not there.
The structures has never been there.
It is not there.
So how did you guys survive up until now?
We were surviving based upon, because we had sales. Technology hadn't evolved much.
Right.
So when you put your music on cassette, at least when you go around, people will buy it, and you physically see that it's your cassette. People are buying, and the money comes to you directly. The CDs. So that's where people are making money. And you see, one thing that really bothers us is the area of signing of agreement. You know, in this country, when you try to sign an agreement with somebody, the person would say, I don't trust me, and so it become like the verbal kind of thing.
Okay, so you had a lot of verbal agreements.
Yeah, verbal agreements. It's also on paper. You know, people will do. So I can say that most of the music that you play today, especially those that were done in the 70s, the music is not owned by the musicians themselves. It's owned by the producers.
Wow.
Yes, they use their money to produce them. So there are a lot of musicians, when you go to them and ask them, they should produce some of their CDs, they can't even produce. Me, unfortunately, I have all these archival materials. Right. Had it not been the flood that destroyed mine.
So did it cost you the fact that most of you weren't signing documents as agreements? Did it cost you?
Yes, you see, what the idea was that, okay, you come into my place, I collect your money, I do your music for you. How are you going to do it? I don't care. So the letter that came to me, that was, I also made good use of it.
So did you people know about publishing and all that?
Oh, it was there, but we didn't follow the status quo.
You didn't follow the status quo. So you were just doing the work.
You were just doing the work, Charlie. I didn't know that. Sometimes we had this joke, Charlie. Go and buy intro from Kantamanto for me. Some of them who came from the villages. What you want to, squeeze or get extra money from them. You say, Charlie Master, you have to buy intro and then bridge.
Right.
Yeah, so the chorus, you have to buy the chorus. You say they sell it at Kantamanto. So Charlie, before you give me the money, let me go and buy chorus and then.
So you were buying chorus, you were buying bridge,
and then you drew.
Everything is done by you, Charlie. Corruption, because they didn't understand what they were doing. Were you business minded?
Be a business for me. I don't give small money.
You were business minded.
Yes.
And did you treat music as business?
I treated music as business.
Right.
At the same time as passion.
Right.
So it was a passion that made me discover a lot of people. The last time Reggie ZP told me a story that I even couldn't remember that. He had come from school, Accra Academy boys. He, Borax, and there was one guy, Mohammed, who was working with Radio Go. They would sneak from school and then come to Fredyma studio for them to come and record. So one time he was about to record it demo in my studio, but he didn't have money. So he had to go and sell his shirt at a Tema station.
To come and pay.
Yes. So when he went and then gave the shirt to the guy didn't give him money, but he had to also come. So he came and said, okay, Reggie, let me do the song. You are good. So I did the song for him and told him that if you get the money, Charlie, try and come. Now, Charlie,
huge guys, global icons. When with the influx of technology, did it leave some of you behind such that your speed could not catch up with what technology brought?
Yes, some of them. Me, I started playing with technology as soon as I had this with the Atari computer. So I started studying on my own. Yeah, I was buying books from this book shop, the popular book shop around Trade Fair area. Oh, what's the name? I forgotten. Those were the main bookshops. So I started buying sound engineering books, then studying myself, applying the science that I learned at school, application in terms of. So most of the things that I learned was myself until I went to Mr. Kwache for references in terms of how frequencies I use, mixing. And most of my works that I was doing I had to take it to him for us to work together and a whole lot of things. So I quite remember when Dasribe came to my studio in 1996, and then Maria Japan song, My Day Adi Day. Fredyma, it was done, so you can play that one.
Sound engineers or producers are doing now that you people didn't do back in the day, which you find very, very, very interesting.
What they are doing now, most of them, the kind of today, because of the IT. so they can comb around, get a lot of DAW, that digital audio waves, go into the digital domain, be able to extract information from how these programmings are done, like Fruity Loops and a whole lot of things.
Right.
The guys of today can learn music through what we call it, the internet. If that even attend here, because the notes are there, you can just go example and then play. So guys of today, in terms of their vocal dexterity, instrumental playing, Charlie, they are top notch. I respect the guys of today.
You respect them so much.
Solid. They
Solidly. So technology has added to the industry or has taken away from the industry.
The finesse is good, man. It's added to the industry. If somebody says, because look, we live in a fast world, Charlie. Now fufu pounding, Charlie, is becoming an obsolete thing. Yeah, fufu. People didn't know that fufu was just applying pressure. Just a pressure on cook
cassava.
That was the technology. And someone said, okay, if you're applying what we call it, pressure, then let me do something that a blender that can, the motor will be very fast. So it gets fast and then. So
are you still producing for these contemporary artists?
Yes.
Within this space?
Within this space,
with the kind of technology we're using. Are you still producing?
Yes, I'm still producing because unfortunately, I came to meet this technology, so I studied it and then use it with the old to train a lot of the guys. So I'm still competing. And
so you have come through the old into the new.
We blended ourselves
from
the old to the new. We didn't relent on our efforts.
And so would you say the inability of some of your contemporaries to be able to merge the old and the new is why they are out of business?
Sometimes. And most of them to maybe sickness or maybe losing clients. For instance, I've lost a lot of clients, but they are very, very, very stable and what we call punctual clients that they wait for you. One of them, I've set up a small studio. One guy said, "No, Uncle Fred, you've lost your studio, but I will wait for
I'll wait till you get your studio back."
So he even gave me money to buy a PC.
Wow.
So that and I've worked for him on that one.
For him.
I've done.
When did you venture into commercials? How did they come about?
Yes, 1991 when Tigo was about to establish, so it's called Mobitel. So together with Michael Smith, we did the first jingle for the Mobitel. That was 1992, 28 years ago. And then one guy called Captain Boge. Captain Boge, he was also coming out of jingles into my studio. So we started and Anankuma. So we started doing jingles till I landed on Farmok jingles. The Joy Daddy Bites, Efira series, most of the jingles, Obapa tomato paste, Coral Range syrup.
Some you even featured in.
Yes, yeah.
The visuals.
Yeah, the visuals. Some of them I've even featured. And I've done countless. BB Menson, wherever you are, Charlie, shout out to you. We did one of the best jingles for TT Brothers. That jingle took us almost about 3 days, but it was only 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah, but it took you about 3 days. But averagely, how long does it take you to produce a jingle?
A jingle, in terms of the creativity, if you are supposed to create the song, the person will give you the concept and then you write the lyrics down and then. So averagely, before you come out, program the rhythm. So let's take it about a day.
So jingles, 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 1 minute max. Music. Then you guys were doing 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes. Which of these two gave you money?
The jingles. I made my money from the jingles.
You made your money from the jingles?
Serious one. Because one jingle, Charlie, you can collect about 50,000 Ghana cedis. Because creativity. Create this for me.
The creativity is more.
I can't remember when I created Nomukago. Child, I push what.
You created that too. Nomukago.
Yeah, with Kufiando of your previous series. So it's creativity. Create something. And then we've done a lot. Sometimes.
Was there a point where you were tempted to just shelf music and concentrate on jingles because you were making a fortune out of it?
I was doing both. But the jingles, in terms of the productivity, in terms of money, it was jingle that brought me.
It was jingles.
Yes. And,
so did jingle take a better part of your time at a point?
Fortunately, I had about 3 studios dotted around Fredyma studios, a circle there. So I have one for commercial people recording what we call music and a whole lot. I do the programming and I have other engineers who record the music. But the jingles, that I made sure that I was behind the jingle because people prefer me.
You being there.
Yeah, the voiceovers. Because I did a lot of voiceovers with Dorian Ando of Joy, Radio Gold, James Jinim Boating, Ofori, MFA Apau. Today is her birthday. She was discovered in my studio. Yeah, apparently, you know MFA Apau.
MFA Apau.
Yeah, she works with Joy News.
Well, I think I do.
You know,
I think I do. Dark.
Yeah, she's a bit fair.
Okay.
She came to the studio with Ofori to record a jingle, but the person who was supposed to record the jingle didn't come. I said, let's try this woman's voice, and that was a breakthrough.
So apart from MFA, who else did you do? Let's try his voice or her voice, and then the person became a household name.
On the spot, but I have done a lot of jingles, like with Jessica Opare, Safuru, and a whole lot of things. I on the distance, unless maybe I go back and then.
I see.
Yes.
And you've done some acting too.
Yes, Ofori acting. The one that I think when I brought it on, that was done a week or 3 days before the May 9th disaster in 2001. You saw the car, that's what car.
I saw it.
Yeah, I had bought it for my children for school, and you know, so that lady was supposed to be my girlfriend. Production. It was produced by one guy called Curtis. He was an editor at TV3. Now the bass line was played by one guy called Soron, who is dead.
Okay.
So the guitars that you see in the song, yes, and the strings, I did all those. Wow. And then from there we took it to, there was a studio at Abeka called Klar Music. That way we took to do the mastering and a whole lot of things.
And here we are,
and
masterpiece.
Shashamali's Matatwe, the whole album.
You produced it?
Yes. Me and Don Waxy, and then Kafu they played all the keyboards before Shasha took them to class to do also record, and then later on he went to Jamaica and added. But the original program,
is from did it.
Kafu. So if you look at the album cover, he's giving us credit there. Everything was done in my studio,
Fredyma Studios.
That's right. With Don Waxy, my other sound engineer who was backing me, and then Kafu Day.
Right. So 5 years ago, you lost everything in the studios.
Charlie, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
You don't like talking about it?
Oh, I will talk about it.
You will talk about it.
Because yesterday the rain fell, and then I think.
Who broke the news to you that something was happening at the studio?
It was one of my apprentices. Apparently that we had work on a jingle for African Origin and Travels. For him to be delivered, because he was supposed to play the jingle the next day on radio, right? Because it was a timely jingle. It was centered towards, was it an Olympic game or some of these African games there? So he had to go. So we arranged that by 5 p.m. I will be in the studio just to go and then deliver the jingle to you. Only for them to tell me that it was raining heavily around Circle, so I shouldn't come. So around 9 o'clock to 10, my apprentice called me, "Uncle, I'm sorry, you've lost everything."
You've lost everything.
But I had packed my cars and everything there. I think the last I even showed it on my Facebook page.
Right.
My cars and everything there. Almost all the archiving and people's works that I have done before. And at the end of the day, it's also killed my brother-in-law too. Yeah. So Fredyma paid the price for it.
How did you absorb that information that came? That very minute.
That very minute, we saw, my wife and I saw that actually the AWA number, because I had invested. And the worst part of this was that on the 1st of June, I had gotten a contract with ETV.
Right.
We were going to produce the Mike Egan series. Right. And there was going to be a live part. We had done the first around 2011 or so. So we were going to do the second edition. And they asked me to, beef up my stock in terms of my music, because I was also using the place as a renters to do for people to rehearse. So I have gone in and bought equipment with about 100,000 Ghana cedis.
That's about 100,000 Ghana cedis. That's 1 billion.
Yes, I arranged all of them there on the 1st of June.
1st of June.
Because I've stayed in that area, and the demographic tells me that between 10th to 20th June, that's where the heaviest rainfall comes. I have all those kind of data there. So I was the 1st June here, Charlie, I was devastated. But you see, sometimes when we tell some of these things now, do you believe in prophecy?
Well, I believe in anything that exists.
Listen, man, I always say I won't say anything just to praise any pastor or so. But prior to that, Obinim called me. One of my guys is working there. Obinim called me and then said there was something going to happen to me.
Right.
It involves death, water and fire. So I went there, and then he told me that this is what is coming. There's death, but they will pray that at least there's death. But that's it. Definitely come. Like, it'll come.
There's nothing they can do about it. They can pray so that the death doesn't happen. Yes. But the rest will happen.
The rest will happen. So at the back of my mind, I had that one intuition there. But when it was coming,
you didn't know.
You didn't know. And this thing, I won't say this to just to praise Obin or something of that sort. Me, I believe in spiritual things.
Right.
That time that the guy called me, that day I wanted to send my second born to the place to get the information for the African origin and travel. But my son said he will never go. If my son had when he would have died.
He would have died.
Yes. So at the point of leaving my house, just as I opened the door, I saw a flash, like an image of me who tell me, sign.
Image of Obinim.
Yes.
You saw the image of Obinim telling you to sign.
Charlie. It was like a flash.
How did he look? Did he look like an angel? Was he in white?
No, his image.
His image.
Yeah,
right.
he told me, sign. It's just a flash. Within a second. So I started panting. And I sat, man. This only for me to hear in the evening that this was.
So you not going to the studio, was it what the flash you saw or the call that came that don't come?
The flash that came, and at the same time, the kind of report that I was getting, that circle was getting flooded. Yeah. Normally it flashes and then it goes away, but not to this extent. It was around after the 9 o'clock that my guy told me that look, there has been fire and then water in them, so a lot of people are dead. And I think that disaster, people who died, if I'm not exaggerating, it's more than 500. I'm telling you, because a lot of people who stay at circle, they don't count them amongst. Some of them are from the hinterland, so you don't have regular addresses. So a lot of people died.
How much did you lose if you are to put everything in the room?
Master, I have lost.
Studios?
I have lost
a lot
because data alone, people's data. I had data of Ofori Amponsah pounding fufu for my wife. The video when we appeared to, so I was training him, brushing his teeth in the morning. They kill all of them. I had all their portfolios and they are going to do a very good documentary on them.
Those you had to do works for, whose data got washed away with the water, did they come after you?
Yeah, some of them came after me.
Right.
But seeing the level of the destruction, Charlie, some of the Anglo-Fed, I was Charlie, then see what God can do. So some of them, they have started coming back for me to do what they were supposed to do.
The floods are in again, and you are someone who have experienced what flooding could do to us, and you are pro-NPP. What's your advice for your people?
You see, unfortunately, the Abraka area is the lowest point in Accra. All the water that flows from Aburi entering the sea, that's where they pass. And our place was the East Legon of yesteryears.
Right.
Do you know that the studio I was occupying, that was the first room that Dr. Nkrumah rented when he came from the US to Ghana in the 1940s. And at that time, because the population hadn't been that kind of large, people hadn't been across. You see, water finds its own level.
Yeah.
So those times, the flood used to come, but it wasn't like this. But now, all the places that the water has to flow to the sea, they've all been blocked.
So what is your message for people, and what is your government, because you are pro-NPP, what is the arrangement to ensure that people do not become victims of flood?
Look, well, let me tell you, nature can call anytime, and I think this is what we have to do is maybe,
or it goes beyond party politics.
Yes, either we have to relocate people who living around that area, and let them. But other than that, this thing will continue till the time we die. Yes, it's not going to end now.
Anytime the rains come, how do you feel? Do you fear? Do you have a certain feeling?
Yes, I have a certain feeling in me. Especially from Saturday to now. Yeah, I was just calculating the level in terms of, as I've told you, I've gotten data and everything. So I said, Charlie, this is going to harm a lot of people. And the saddest aspect is that, look, people should listen to me. When you're going to buy any land, try and buy them during the rainy season.
Okay.
A lot of people deceive people.
Buy land during the rainy season.
Because Accra in general is a waterlogged place. It's a plain. So it's flat. So most of the land, if you are buying them, you need to be very, very careful. Other than that, you buy a marshy area before you realize, Charlie, you are in a water course where when it overflows, it will definitely.
Have you gotten over that disaster?
Not yet. No.
After 5 years?
Yeah, not yet. Because if I quantify the number of items that I lost, for instance, if you look at on my wall, I had 2 or 3 or 5 very distinct studio monitors called the NSM10. They are the best reference monitors in the world. Very
best reference monitors in the world.
Yeah, when we are recording this too, because what you hear when they are played everywhere, that's where you also hear. I lost almost 5 of them. Yes, very expensive. I can't get the original one now. Now they've done some with what do we call it, active ones. But mine was the passive ones. Did
you insure your equipment?
The insurance, when you go to them, they will tell you to make what kind of insurance. The top most, what they call it, comprehensive. Where am I going to get that? Because
but you were making money then.
Our job is a probability job.
Right.
Probability job.
Right.
You get some today, tomorrow you don't know when the client.
So insurance wasn't something.
It was something, but the kind of this that they will tell you, the premium that they will tell you to pay or something. The charity was ridiculous. So
was it the premium that made you?
They knew that there was a problem there, people, because NS chemists had it. So I think the kind of insurance that they paid to him for losing most of his drugs is not easy at all, and I don't have that kind of money to.
But moving forward, you'll still be doing probability job. Should you have a studio? Will you insure?
For now, yes. For where I am,
even though it's still probability job.
For now, I've learned my
because of where you are.
Yes, I've learned my lesson now.
If you happen to get it where you lost,
no, for now that place is past. I'm not coming there again.
You're not coming there.
No,
you're not going anywhere.
No, that place scares me. Anytime that I recycle, I don't even look at that place.
It scares you.
Yes.
So you are traumatized.
I'm telling you. Charlie, that June 3rd disaster is a blow to my life, man. I almost lost my family in terms of because I didn't have any money, and friends would promise, oh, Fredyma, oh, you go there. Some of them have CCTV cameras in their house. As soon as they see you coming, they'll tell their wives, catch Fredyma is soon. I quite remember a friend of mine. I was coming to give him business for him to also give him my fair share. When he saw me, he told the wives on country and say me no.
So you went.
I went there and then tell Freddy, yeah, this is here crowd will free about you. I was sir. I was like bringing him business. They have the money here. Okay, then I mean check his social then he got so near crash. Look at how you see. So anytime that I listen to that kind of advert, you pay a bad
wow.
Yeah. When you saw that I was bringing money, they said, so near crash how young quiet. So he came out and said, you
told him in the face.
Yes, I will not. It is the money. I will not give.
And you didn't give him?
No, I didn't give him. And that since that time, I've blocked him from my list.
Who is this person?
I will not mention.
Is that an industry person?
You know, he's not an industry person.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. So since then, every June 3rd, how do you go through the day?
Normally I sit down, play my hymns. I love hymns. If you follow me on Facebook.
So you play a lot of hymns?
Every year. I play my hymns, reflect on my life. Actually, after all, what is life? If you take your life from 70, you can see that the rest sickness. Now that we are growing, I'm going to buy pressure medicine. You know, your manhood is going to die. You're not going to enjoy the fullness of life again. You're going to be lonely. Your children will leave you, and everything. So you have to plan for all this, and you are going to die at the end of the day.
Eventually,
yes, you will die.
Did it have a toll on your health?
Yes.
What happened to you?
I developed pressure. Well, I didn't have any pressure, but I have pressure now.
You have pressure now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, losing your daily bread, challenge easy.
It's not
something easy. You have to live on friends, you know, and then Charlie Ube through.
And Obinim also did a lot for you.
Oh yeah, he made me stay in his house for 2 years, employed me as OBTV studio as the manager there. But when they saw me that Charlie Freddy, my baby, I'm 11, but some of them they couldn't, the boys they couldn't handle. So concern around them, and the man also loved me. Said, Fred, I don't want to have that kind of so live.
Okay.
He was giving me money every time. He paid my children's school fees. And to me, Obin do or any part of money. But in the good side, you know, at waste the bad. People don't know.
So when Kennedy Japan was on his case,
because I didn't want to get myself involved because eventually at the end of the day, senior and the you be Charlie. Yeah. So I
senior
you shall definitely see.
Okay, let me read a few messages before we run out of the studio. Our time is up. It's very, very, very interesting. Fredyma. Okay, so your messages on WhatsApp. This one says, hello. I'm Kenneth from Kenneth Landry. My weekend was fantabulous, especially when it was raining. Tell your guest that he is too much, Mr. Lavanya. If you don't bring your laundry items for cleaning, we people